Hello, everyone. My name is Allison Merker Garner, and I am the creator and author of Musical Minds. And this is Musical Minds Volume 4. Volume 4 is set up like Volume 3, and we're just going to jump right in. The cover looks like this. This is the textbook, as you can see. All of these books are copyrighted. They're all published through the Library of Congress. This is the classical period and early romantic period. So let's look at the textbook first. Oops, that's just the cover. So let's look at the body. Why is it flipping to that, I wonder? Sorry about this. There we go. Huh. Well, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's do that. Now I think we got it. All right. And Volume 4, textbook, Classical and Early Romantic Chamber Music. And it's for violin, viola, cello, and piano. This is intermediate to advanced level students. And the table of contents takes the style and the forms from the classical period into the romantic. And so all of the examples you see here are examples that in the textbook will just be a snippet of a score. And in the reading book, you'll find the whole score plus the individual parts. These are not to be performed. They are just to understand the genres, to understand what it looks like and what it sounds like. So you can use them just as score reading. You can use them as to play through a little bit of, just to get an idea of what they are. Okay. Some of these are, let's see, you've got quintets, piano trios, piano quartets. You've got some piano parts in here. Okay, and then these are all the illustrations. Okay, so the text itself is not very long, but as you can see, they do have examples here of pieces from the repertoire in score form. And there are references to the reading book that are the full separate parts plus the score if you want to have your students play with them a little bit. All right. And so this is what it looks like. The textbook has some background, histories, genres, styles, but not a whole long thing. It's just enough to really give a student an introduction to it. Okay. Here we go. So we'll move through this pretty quickly just so you get an idea of how it's set up. All the illustrations, by the way, come out of the same period as the music. So it's representational of that same culture. Okay. chord progressions that are commonly found. Here we go, classical period genre. So terms, composers, types of form that you would see, the instruments that were being created at the time, all of that kind of thing. So that gives you an idea of the textbook. And the corresponding reading book would have those same pieces. Here we go. But with the parts. So here is the Gluck, violin 1 part, and the violin 2 part, and so forth. Now you will notice that they're bowings, but there are no fingerings in here. You can put in fingerings, you can put in markings if you want to, or have your student do so. But I'm staying pretty true to the score. And here's an example for the pianists if you want to just play the left hand part to the trio, or if you want to play both hands are on the bottom. So there's an option there if you have a pianist that would be more comfortable doing it that way. Here's a score. Actually, this is not a score, it's a preparation for the score for the CPE Bach. But this gives you an idea of how it correlates with the textbook. So these are not to be performed, they are just to be given some kind of idea of how this music was structured, what it might look like, what it might sound like, that kind of thing. Okay, so that is the reading book for volume 4. And looking at the Renaissance book, that's funny, the resource book here, there. We'll look at the table of contents. So once again, we've got some folk music to start us off with, and kinds of folk music that inspired some of the forms that we got in the classical and early Romantic periods. We have cadences that are commonly found in this style period. Okay, and then performance pieces. And these are scored either for piano or for strings or both. So within the book itself, you see the different folk tunes here, and you see the chord changes. So if you want to have somebody play G's, C's, and D's for an accompaniment, that would be a good introduction into what you would do in a folk band, right? Perfect cadences. These are all cadences that are commonly found in the late classical and early Romantic periods. Half cadences, chances to write, and deceptive cadences and chances to write those in. Okay, and then chord progressions with the bass line. So now we're into more romanticism, right? I mean, chromaticism. So here you see that in the cadence, right? So that is going to be a little more complicated to play under. But this is that going from the fives, the secondary dominants that you often find in this period. And then we get into the actual art music from the period. You can either play or just look at, but it's an example of the art music that comes out of late classical and early Romantic periods. So there you have that. And then what I don't have readily available, but also is part of Musical Minds 4, is the piano trio book and the string quartet book. So you have two different chamber music books, and that is not flexible instrumentation because that's not what they had then. We're writing for the instrument at this point, so it's set. So those books are also available that I don't have on the screen. So that gives you an idea of what Musical Minds 4 is like. Thank you for listening.